When they scored a touchdown, I think that was a big thing. I mean, they went a couple no huddles. They changed the pace. That's what they did that for. Jake Plummer, made a run. Remember on the scramble, got a first down. Then he come back and he hit Frank Sanders in there. And I think that you just take that and you say that we had a lot of negative things happen to us early. We had some good things happen to us just before halftime. Remember, we were down to this team 28-0 before, and we came back against them. So, 21-7. Isn't bad for this team, for Jake Plummer, and what we're doing. And I think they'll just do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't give Corey Chavis some help on Rocket Ismail, or maybe even move and put Aeneas Williams over on Ismail.
Well, it is hot and not getting any cooler, so that's going to be a factor before it's over. The Cowboys will receive the second half kickoff as Jeff Ogden, who's going to take it at the 5. They lead 21-7. And right now, let's go down to the sideline and DJ Johnson.
I talked to both coaches at halftime. Vince Tobin said that his team is playing hard. He's really happy with their effort, but they just need to correct those little mental mistakes. Now, in the second half, he said they need to get the momentum. They got it at the end of the first half, so they need to come out and have a good first series. And after that, he said they should be on the right track. The heat, they said, doesn't bother them. They said this is what they practice in every single day, and this, to them, is just like another practice.
Thanks, DJ, but it may be not a factor, but it sure looked like it was in the first half. This is Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt, a pass to 30 up to about the 32-yard line. Let's go back again to DJ.
Speaking of Chan Gailey at halftime, Chan simply said that their team hasn't run the ball well. He said the passing game has not been too bad, but if they're going to keep this lead in the second half, they need to establish the running game. He said Arizona got the momentum at the end of the first half. The running game will help get the momentum back. That should be their game plan for the second half. Back to you, Pat.
2nd and 3. Emmitt Smith again. Emmitt stopped by Andre Wadsworth.
And one of the things that we talked about in the first half that the Cardinals are doing is they're using run blitzes, and that's part of the reason that the Cowboys haven't run successfully, because they're blitzing their run and they're getting in the gaps and they're hitting them pretty well. And you can just see right here, you see they get up there, they get the middle linebacker right in the line, and they hit him at the line of scrimmage. Now that time Emmitt Smith did a good job of running, and they got some good blocking. But
and Tony Hudson did a good job in front of him.
And the theory of the Cardinals is to blitz the run.
First down, Aikman will throw it outside to Robert Thomas. A flag on the play. Thomas started off this season as a linebacker, had some speed, had some blocking ability, so they moved him to fullback. So now he's a combination linebacker fullback. This is going to be holding against Dallas.
Yeah, and that was one of the ways that he could make the team.
Number 89, offense. After the completed pass during the run, it'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
That's David LaFleur, the tight end, who was doing the holding after Robert Thomas caught the pass. This is what Troy Aikman did in the first half. You can see he really hasn't worked the left side of the field. Under 15 yards, he's 4 for 5 in the middle, 1 for 1 deep, and then 1 for 2 right. That's a touchdown to Ismail there, and 3 for 4 under 15 yards to the right. So most of his throwing in the first half was in the middle of the field and to his right, like that.
Robert Thomas, and he barrels, breaks a tackle, and that's why they put him there.
Where'd that linebacker come from on offense? One of the reasons they moved him there is because he's a good special teams player, and they thought that by having an extra fullback they could carry him as a fullback, and they couldn't carry him as a linebacker. But I'll tell you, he runs like a linebacker, fullback, runaway truck, whatever the heck you call that.
John, just checking.
That man got loose.
Rocket Ismail has not come back yet. He's not on the Dallas sideline, not in the game.
Yeah, and we saw him leave early. Remember, before halftime he went in.
Aikman gives to Smith, stops in the hole and breaks a tackle, breaks another one, and gets a first down.
And we talked about Thomas and being a fullback, linebacker, runaway truck. Let's listen to it. It always looks a lot better than it sounds when you do that. But from up here live, that sounded a lot tougher than that.
The truck never really got going, never got hit. At least if you base it on the sound.
No, but you could hear it from right here.
Yeah.
It was
with your raw ears
down there, raw ears.
Here's Emmitt looking for room, getting into Cardinal territory, down to the 41. Here comes Rocket. He was, we're told, dehydrated. He came back. He got treatment during the halftime.
But what they do is they give him one of those intravenous things.
The hangers.
Yeah, fluid in him, and so he went in early to get his, because there's probably in that Cowboy locker room there was probably a lineup for the hangers.
I bet.
Rocket went in and got his first.
What's that on the end of the ball?
Looks like chewing tobacco.
It does.
I think someone spit on the ball.
It's illegal.
Stepnoski is snapping a spit upon ball. Good, it's a run. That was a run.
Emmitt Smith. Right now, for an update, let's go back to Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
All right, Pat, one of the many weapons for St. Louis is having a career day in Cincinnati. Oz Hakeem, his third touchdown of the day. This at the beginning of the third quarter. 84-yard punt return for a touchdown. Little hurdle at the end. 28-3 St. Louis, and you have to wonder if the Rams are for real. Back to Pat and John.
I don't wonder anymore. They are for real. Thomas and Emmitt Smith, and this Aikman swings out to Ernie Mills. Dallas first down near the Cardinal 20.
You see where Corey Chavis is playing him, and after you're beaten deep and you get beat on an up or something, then a corner, you have to have bad memory. You have to put it out of your mind. But you see how deep is? I mean, he's playing way too far off, and he's not playing aggressively enough. You see him back up, get turned, and he's giving way too much cushion. I mean, if Corey Chavis plays like that, they can throw that pattern all day out there on him.
Ismail's back on 1st and 10. He split wide to the right. Aikman gives again to Smith across the 20, or about to the 20. Excuse me.
No, I was just saying, we talk about Rocket Ismail and the speed and the things, and it was interesting yesterday talking to Emmitt Smith. One of the things that he brought up that Rocket brings to this team that he hasn't had from that position as a blocker.
Yeah.
He said, they don't talk about it, but anytime I'm going to get a big run, I'm going to have an end block. And he said Rocket, surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, is a very good blocker for a wide receiver.
Well, they've been talking about somebody to replace Alvin Harper ever since he left here. And Ismail comes close. The pass is up the middle to LaFleur, who couldn't shake the defender.
This is Troy Aikman's big thing. I mean, he really believes now that in Michael Irvin and in Rocket Ismail, he has the outside receivers, he has Ernie Mills and so on. But he said, if we're really going to have a top passing game that's going to be championship level, he says our backs and tight ends have to win their battles in the passing game.
And even he still talks about how much we miss Jay Novacek, and that's been a long time.
Sometimes he has to forget that, and LaFleur has to come through for him. All kinds of guys jumped offside.
Aikman knew he had a free play, went deep to Michael Irvin. Incomplete.
Troy Aikman is using the hard count more.
Yeah.
And, I think that's a new thing. He feels more comfortable with the offense this year. And then as you get, it's the second year under Chan Gailey, second year with Chan Gailey's offense. And the longer you get it, the more comfortable you get. Then
Offside,
you can do things.
90, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
He's a guy that you never really know how he feels.
No,
thinking.
he's not going to show you. But this is what the hard count is. You see that? He got him on that second hut. He gave him a hard hut, and then a second one right in behind it, and they fell for that second one.
And believe me, those defensive linemen hear it a lot better than we do.
Well, they're just up there, and they're in that stance, and they want to get off on the ball. And they want to rush the quarterback, and any little thing that moves, they're going.
Aikman lobs it out to Ismail. And Ismail gets into the end zone.
That's that
Aikman
screen
says
pass.
touchdown.
That's that screen pass we were talking about, the different ways that they get the ball to Rocket Ismail. It's funny, they get it to Rocket out there, and his leading blocker was Larry Allen. They had the left guard pull out there like a screen. Watch Larry Allen. See, here's Rocket right here. See Larry Allen? He goes out there. He's going to be the lead blocker.
See the way Aikman threw that pass?
He just looped it up over. I mean, Aikman could throw any kind of pass. I mean, that's pretty good running by Rocket Ismail. Very poor tackling by the Cardinals.
And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt's going to score. Emmitt adds to his rushing touchdown record every time he scores.
Yeah, that was what Chan Gailey was telling DJ Johnson. We have to get some running game going. They started the run, then they got that screen pass out there to Rocket, and then they end up with the run for the touchdown to Emmitt Smith.
Chan Gailey was talking about his game plan, his play calling philosophy. He said the odds are, if you saw it last week, you won't see it this week.
And the stuff you see today, you're not going to see next week.
That's right. And the Cowboys add to their lead. It's 28-7.
All right.
Chevrolet trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road.
Big Tex at the Texas State Fair. That's a new outfit. In fact, that's a whole new Big Tex.
Oh, I was just going to ask if that's the same Big Tex every year, but I guess not, huh? That elephant new Tex.
Big. You kick something to him? Bates lets it bounce out of the end zone. The Cardinals will take over at the 20-yard line. 28-7, Dallas. Dallas over Arizona. 7:52 left in the third. Deion Sanders again out by himself. The right corner, his first game back this year. The Cowboys coming off a bye. Deion's going to the other side of the field. Take Frank Sanders, you think?
And he's doing that, and he's taking the slot. And those are two things he doesn't do a lot of. Go to the other side of the field, and more important, take the slot.
Plummer. Greg Ellis first. Kavika Pittman. Finally, Darren Hambrick.
There's Emmitt Smith's touchdown, and you look at how many touchdowns he's scored against the Cardinals. We're going to have to change that right now to 24, most of any team. Look, there it is right there. You know, he is so quick. I mean, he's not real fast, but he's very, very powerful.
Plummer, chased by Pittman. Darren Woodson, Charlie Williams come up.
He knew when he saw Darren Woodson come, he better get down. And you know, one thing the quarterback can do with the ball is he can always pump fake that. And even when he's beyond the line of scrimmage, I mean, it's funny how often football players will go for it. When he's beyond the line of scrimmage and he's running, and he has the ball in his hand, he'll still pump it at the guy, and usually the guy will stop,
and it works.
Down, or sometimes jump up in the air. There's that Cardinal no huddle. They're doing that now to change the pace.
And Jake Plummer pointing to say who I want picked up. He doesn't get them all picked up, and he just barely gets rid of it to Adrian Morrell.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really works when it works. But at third down, you go no huddle, and then if you don't get the first down, then you just come over to the sideline and stand by your coach.
Coming up, Arizona's 8th punt.
Look at Deion Sanders. He's trying to figure out the sun there.
That's what we were talking about earlier, about how tough it is to see the ball come down.
The ball's going to be coming out of the shade, as you can see. He's going to have to look up into the sun.
Deion handles it. Gets away from a couple and gets up to the 40. That's his best effort of the day. Stopped by the snapper Troy Aikman. 28-7 the Cowboys over the Cardinals. Next week on Fox NFL Sunday is a battle in the NFC East as Deion Sanders and these Cowboys clash with the Eagles. Plus other regional action. Coverage begins an hour before kickoff of the pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. The Cardinals on defense. Aikman drops to throw it. Pass complete to Irvin. Ernie Mills, beg your pardon.
Old Troy Aikman's pretty good. There's going to be a penalty on this play, and it's going to be against the Cowboys. But well, if he has time, he can just stand back there and look so great. It's going to be a tripping penalty.
Touch you to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, he just throws that ball. I mean, Mills hadn't even turned yet or come out of the break when that ball was in the air.
Tripping, number 77 on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty.
Solomon
Replay
Page.
first out.
You know, that's usually what you do when you don't get your feet in position.
No, when
you usually have your, you usually get in trouble with your hands or with tripping.
Yeah.
When you don't get your feet in good position.
Usually that's a sign you might be beaten.
Yeah, and and he's playing against Andre Wadsworth. He's playing against a speed guy there. Just match up right here.
Floor goes in motion. Cardinals come on a blitz, clean.
And you see what they did on that one? They dropped Wadsworth out of there, dropped the end out of there, and then brought the outside guy. And old
Zach Walls.
Yeah, Solomon Page was just standing there with no one to block.
They called Aikman again. Intentional grounding.
Well, I think they called roughing the passer, didn't they?
Well, I'm not sure yet. He didn't look happy.
Personal foul.
Yeah,
roughing the passer.
You're right.
Spearing the quarterback. Helmet-to-helmet contact. Number 52. Be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That was Zach Walls, and that was the guy we're talking about. He's going to come off here. See, now here's Solomon Page. He drops here. He comes here. And it was a pretty good blitz. It was a pretty good scheme because he comes in free, and he just hit him helmet to helmet. That's what they called it. It was a little late, and he speared, and he hit helmet to helmet. So they got him. Oh, Zach Walls. He doesn't like that. He's out of Dartmouth. I mean, he's one of the few Ivy League starters in this league.
At least he ought to be able to argue well.
Well, but they got 3 things on him in that deal.
Here's Emmitt Smith. Out of bounds at midfield.
As you watch this game, I think you realize that the Cowboys are coming off a bye, so they really had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, and they kind of look like it. The Cardinals played on Monday night, so they're playing a short week, and they've had to travel, and they kind of look like that. If any of that makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense to me.
Look where Emmitt Smith has run 9 times in the middle, 4 to the left and 6 to the right. Other times they're pulling Larry Allen when they run to the right. They're pulling him from the left to the right to lead the play.
Flag on the play. Whole series.
False start. 22.
Has been sort of out of sync.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Well, that's on Emmitt Smith. Now, a back can go in motion, but he can't go forward. So that's what if he, and sometimes a back will start to move, then he'll run laterally and he can get away with that. But if he moves forward before the ball is snapped, that's illegal motion. If he goes sideways and he's the only guy going in motion, then that is legal.
So it's second down and 11.
Here's a run blitz.
Yep. Aikman throws. Pass caught. Ernie Mills again.
And they picked up that blitz. That was the old split 6 where you have 2 guys coming up the middle and they cross. And they did a good job. See what they're going to do is they're going to come right in here and cross on Stepnoski. Stepnoski comes down and he takes one and then Tony Hudson takes the other one. They do a great job of picking that up.
You just watch Mark Stepnoski and his mechanics and look at the people that he looks at and checks and gets a piece of.
You know, he's so good, and because of the things that they do on that end, then they can do the things that Ernie Mills is doing on the other end.
3rd and 1. Ball's loose. Cardinals are signaling, and so are the officials, that they've got it.
Well, they had a good hold. They had a pretty good push in the middle, and someone just came in and just punched that ball out of Emmitt Smith's hands.
They had a first down. Tommy Bennett comes up with it for the Cardinals. And Aikman and the offensive unit will get a rest. They do look like, on both sides of the ball, the Cardinals, that they had a short week. 28-7.
Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Coors Light, frost brewed to tempt the clean taste of the Rockies. By Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be. And by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Skyline of downtown Dallas. The Cowboys leading 28-7. Cardinals after that fumble recovery. 1st and 10. And the handoff is to Adrian Morrell.
They can't get anything going with the running. Here's the fumble. We'll see Rob Fredrickson is right here. He's the outside linebacker, and he's going to come from that outside. Now watch him as he comes right in here. Right there, you see him take his left hand and knock that ball out of Emmitt Smith's left hand. It was Rob. You see him. You're going to see his hand come right in there. There's Rob Fredrickson, number 59, who just slanted from that outside right down the line.
And got that hand in there. 2nd and 11. Plummer to throw. Pass is incomplete.
One thing I noticed about Jake Plummer, Pat, he doesn't have that thing on his thumb anymore. Remember that that brace or that bandage thing that he had to protect his right thumb? If you look at him here, he doesn't have it. He had it at the end of the half. Remember when he threw the touchdown pass, he had it on then. And I really felt that was bothering him. His thumb was bothering him, that everything was off. And he probably went in at halftime and said, I've had enough of this.
Take it off. 3 wide receivers. And Plummer out of the shotgun, steps up, steps around, and now chased by Pickton. The pass is picked off. Pass intercepted by Dallas by Dwayne Hawthorne, I believe.
Watch him here now. He starts to come out there, and then he's going to scramble, and then it is Hawthorne. Hawthorne was darn near out of bounds.
Yeah, he was in the shadows.
He was in the shadow.
Yeah.
He came out of the shadows and intercepted it.
28-7. 2:59 left in the third. Shade is a very valuable commodity. That's on the sunny side of Texas Stadium. 108 degrees. That's warm enough.
That's why Rocket Ismail and Emmitt Smith were over in the shade.
Yeah.
This is first down. They just got the ball, and they know they're going to have some work to do in this series.
Here's Emmitt again.
Well, we talked about all the stuff that Rocket Ismail does and how they're trying to get him the ball. Here's just taking a short pass, and he makes a long run out of it. Here he is on a reverse. We saw him throw him one and hand him one in reverse. Here he is, and the thing that he probably does best is get deep, get behind the corner. And here they throw him a screen pass. And he gets behind Larry Allen there and almost makes a touchdown.
He's pretty happy.
Well, he's happy to have Rocket Ismail.
Yeah.
You don't see Troy Aikman smile during a game very often.
There's Emmitt up to about the 30, where he is knocked backwards. Jake Plummer has had a tough day.
Well, he has, and I think that part of it goes back that we said earlier, it doesn't have a lot of receivers or a lot of experienced receivers.
Rob Moore was his big guy.
He's not getting a lot of protection, And I think that thumb is bothering him more than they let on. I mean, and he tried that brace on there, and that didn't work. He took that off at halftime, and
Which way you going?
still came back and threw another interception. That's not working.
4 wide outs. And Chris Warren back next to Aikman. Here comes the blitz. Pass complete. Michael Irvin. Remember, John was talking about a bandage or a brace on the right hand of Jake Plummer before the game. This is during the warm-ups.
Yeah, and then he has a different grip in the ball too. See, he kind of has 2 fingers here, and then he has a split. Then he has 2 fingers here. They all go across the laces, behind the laces. And again, this is what we were talking about here, that he had. That was in the pregame, and he had that also all during the first half, and he doesn't have here in the second half.
Thomas, the fullback. Chris Warren, the carrier, has the ball knocked loose from him. Knocked out of bounds, I think. I'm not sure Warren ever had control of that.
We were talking about that run blitz. Ronald McKinnon, the middle linebacker, was blitzing, and he was coming up the middle, and I think that distracted Warren. If we watch that, you'll see McKinnon is going to come right up the middle. It's going to be a pitch back here, and I think that was distracting right there. I think he saw that action in the middle just as the ball was snapped, and he never got his eyes on the ball.
I think the last person who had control of the ball was Aikman when he took it from center. 2nd and 13. 4 wide receivers. Here's Aikman. Steps up, and he's going to run. Stretches out to about the first down marker. Rob Fredrickson made the stop.
There's a Cowboy down right there, too. In fact, it's Tony Hudson. We always talk about linebackers' eyes. This is a definition of linebackers' eyes. Here's Rob Fredrickson. Just look at him. I mean, he has a bead on Troy Aikman all the way. He's looking back to see where he's going to set in his zone. Then once he starts to run, he just zeroes in on him. As I said, that was Tony Hudson down on that play. He's starting and has been doing a good job for the regular starter, Everett McIver, who has a pulled hamstring.
Now they'll have Myslinski, who they just picked up, taking over, or else they'll move Page back inside and play this guy.
Yeah, I don't think that they would like to have Eric Williams not have to play this game. They would like to rest him and not have to play him so that he can get rid of that pulled quad and go on from there.
There's Myslinski.
Yeah, they either have to go. If they don't go with Eric Williams, it'll be Myslinski. Well, they don't have to. They could go with big old Helly. Hellistray played some.
As I say, they have to.
A week ago. No, but I caught big old Helly in there. Helly talked to him the other day. He's been on a diet.
Yeah, he's lost weight. I don't think.
Well, he's lost like 8-10 pounds, but he said he hit a wall. Big old Helly hit a wall, and
wonder where he hit it.
He just ran into it. He just ran into it stomach first. That's the way you say hello and stuff like that. But Helly's just drying himself off, cleaning up. But I don't think he's going to go in. I think he's cleaning up to
snap.
Yeah. And I think you're right. It'll be Tom Myslinski. We'll go in there and play that right guard slot.
But it's comforting to know that Helly is ready.
Well, Helly's like a baseball. You got a batter up. Myslinski is up, and Helly's on deck.
Helly's on deck.
And that is comforting. Said he lost weight too, but he hit the wall, so he's going to stay where he is right now.
3-man rush from the Cardinals. And Aikman had an open man. It was Ernie Mills who had it slip through his hands. The Cowboys will have to punt.
Remember Ernie Mills and that injury that he had last year, and it was kind of reminiscent of that play right there, coming across the field and got hit right there in the stomach. And he had surgeries and problems that he said he just found out a week or so ago all the problems he really had.
He didn't know how seriously he was injured. But he's been doing very well. Going, short kick. Cody. There's Helly. Ellis made the snap perfectly and made the tackle. Made it look easy.
You can never underestimate the strength of a snapper.
And that's the end of the third quarter with the score of the Dallas Cowboys 28, Arizona 7. Fox NFL Sunday from Texas Stadium will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
I mean, he's been a utility guy. Anytime they needed a guy, he's played tackle. He's played guard. And you can see that that's not very good here.
On the last play of the third quarter, the foul was on number 44, the receiving team, for holding. While the kick was in the air, we enforced the penalty at the commercial break.
Okay, thank you. J.J. McCleskey is number 44. And the line of scrimmage now for the Cardinals is back at their own 19 after all those things.
Mislinski, who has to play now, is starting to get some pass protections and some shivers and stuff, getting his swerve on, getting his game on.
Another one who fills out the suit pretty good.
He has to, with a name, that many letters in your name, you have to have a big old back.
Here comes Jake Plummer, running again, throwing again out of bounds, incomplete.
Yeah, you get the feeling that after Jake Plummer throws the ball every time that it hurts his thumb.
Yeah.
And just the way he kind of grabs or shakes it right after the throw.
2 interceptions, 11 for the year. Completion percentage today of 40.2.
You just, with a guy like Jake Plummer, he's going to be a great player, and you just hope that these types of things don't break him.
Morrell. Sprained right knee is the word on Tony Hudson. Will not return. We were talking to Jake yesterday. He kept talking about we have a lot of young players. So what the heck? You're 24. What's young?
24 in your third year. And you're talking about young guys, but we're talking about all the things in free agency and injuries, and the Cardinals are one of those teams that were very close. They took a step up last year. They've taken 3 steps backwards.
Pass caught by Cody. Cody will move the sticks.
Yeah, that was one of the guys that Vince Tobin and Mark Trestman and even Jake Plummer were talking about is seeing Cody in the game because he's different from all their other receivers. Rob Moore is a big guy. Frank Sanders is a big guy. Andy McCullough, David Boston, the #1 draft choice. And Matt Cody is a little guy.
But a quick guy. It's Morrell. Herded out of bounds by Deion Sanders.
And the thing with the Cardinals is if you can't get the running game going, then it's really tough because there's only one pass receiver and they just kind of gang up on him and that's what the Cowboys have been able to do. First they shut down the run. The Cardinals go with no huddle here, and then they just key everything on Jake Plummer
and Frank Sanders. Plummer going deep. Flag on the play. People on the ground.
They're going to call that on defense. He was trying to get a deep one to Matt Cody. Now, usually, if their feet just tangle up, they usually don't call that. But there has to be a push in order to call this one.
Interference, 25, defense, automatic first down.
Charlie Williams. After Kevin Mathis went down with an injury early, Williams took his place.
Well, you see right there, I don't know.
I don't know about that either.
I think he had his hand up earlier, but I think their feet did get tangled up, and I don't know that should have been pass interference.
I don't think so.
We're just talking. That's one thing that they're not calling pass interference as tightly as they used to. Like they did there.
Gets the pass to Johnny McWilliams.
Johnny McWilliams, remember, he was a starting tight end for the Cardinals last year.
Yep.
He was beaten out this year by Terry Hardy, but he still plays a lot because they use a lot of 2 tight ends.
He shared time last year with Chris Gedney.
Gedney played a lot, kind of as a receiving tight end.
McWilliams was more the blocking tight end. There is Morrell. Shakes one tackler. knocked out of bounds by Mobley.
You don't see the Cowboys today have been tackling very well, and that wasn't one of those situations that, you know, that they come up and they missed a couple tackles on that one. That's what Dave Campo there, the defensive coordinator, even having Deion Sanders back, he has a little more bounce in his step. You notice that?
Yeah.
A little more confidence in his calls, and I mean, it's amazing what one guy can do to change a whole bunch of things.
Here's Plummer lofting the ball deep, and the pass is caught by Michael Pittman. Ball was thrown short. Pittman came back for it. The Cowboy defender never saw it.
You know, the funny thing is the Cardinals are still working, you know, to the right side. You know, everything away from where Deion would be, and I don't think that Deion's even in there. I don't think Deion's even playing, but you can see that, you know, that we talked about, you know, Jake Plummer's thumb and how it's bothering him, and it's just not the same. And he's not even throwing spirals.
Morrell on first down hammers down to about the 13-yard line before he stopped.
But Deion Sanders isn't in there now. We're just talking about that. I think Kenny Wheaton is playing over there on that right side. And I don't know that the Cardinals know that yet. They're still staying away from Deion, and there's no reason to. I mean, now might be a pretty good time to go over there and work on that left side, because they were still working over here on this side. Charlie Williams, I don't know that I wouldn't try something out there. I don't think they've thrown a ball to David, or David Boston hasn't caught a ball today, has he?
Dwayne Hawthorne on the other side, the defensive back. Here's Morrell, and Morrell stays on his feet and bangs it down to about the 3-yard line. Adrian Morrell. Cardinals got him from the Jets.
And that was Hawthorne who was in on that tackle there. And you see, maybe they did discover there that, you know, we can get over there in that left side, and maybe we can find some things we want to do, because there's not a lot of great tackling. And
Morrell gets a rest. Mario Bates, who is their short yardage runner, takes his place as the I-back, the deep back. And Jake Plummer has called a timeout for the Cardinals. Dallas leading 28-7. Just over 10 minutes left to play.
Brought to you by the new larger Saturn L Series, the next big thing from Saturn. By smooth, refreshing Michelob Light, beer or Michelob. By the United States Marine Corps, the change is forever. And by Ameritrade, believe in yourself.
That is South Fork Ranch. Remember the television series Dallas?
yeah, it all happened right there.
Oh, a lot of conniving. On first down, Plummer lost the ball, dropped it, and I think the Cowboys have it back. Maybe he's still alive. Greg Ellis. Greg Ellis still running. He had one long run for a touchdown against Atlanta. Greg Ellis
There's another one. Unbelievable. Get the oxygen out. He just ran 100 yards. They ought to put a clock on him. You know, they always talk about 100-yard dash time. I wonder what Greg Ellis's 100-yard dash time was.
I don't know, but he made it. That's a remarkable thing that he made it.
I know, and he had a little swerve on. I mean, he made some moves as he went down the field.
He had a cutback at the end.
Yeah, there were some missed tackles and stuff. Deion is saying that should have been mine.
Let's get a time on this.
But watch him here. Here he picks it up. Now he's going to run a 100-yard dash in what? We're going to get a clock. We got this looks pretty good, because he's still got to move here. You got to cut back. Again, cut back right there.
Behind Darren Wilson.
Now put the speed on and then just flop into the end zone. We put a clock on that, but it was 15 seconds. He run the 100-yard dash in 15 seconds.
That won't get him in the Olympics, but it might get him in the All-Madden team.
Oh yeah, and I mean it'll get him in some sprinters, like shot putter sprint or something.
That's the Cowboys' longest fumble return ever. in the history of the franchise.
That was a heck of a play.
Chuck Howley had the record with a 97-yard return. Ellis 98. $35-7. Here's the play again. The touchdown by Ellis.
Right between Jake Plummer's hands and hits him in the chest. Greg Ellis picks it up, but you know, it was Darren Woodson was right there with him, and he blocked Mario Bates, who was there, because all he had to do when he was down is be touched, and the ball would have been down there. No one touched him, but Darren Woodson said, "Get going," and he ran that 100-yard dash in 15 flat. That's going.
Cody on the kickoff return. Now, Greg Ellis had an interception return against Atlanta. Now he's just had a 98-yard fumble return.
This is a one against Atlanta. Remember, this was just on Monday night. It was just or 2 weeks ago. And he just took off with this thing. Then he's running pretty good there.
It's a night game.
Yeah, that was the Monday night game. Yeah, where he did that, and then here he just took this one and ran. I don't know. They gave him 98, but to me, he was right there on that end zone. We timed him from the goal line to goal line.
15 seconds. And you know who made the block down at the other end of the field? The last one that sprung him? Darren Woodson.
Well, Darren Woodson was the guy who got him started with the first block, and then finished him off with the second block and allowed for him to make that great cutback move. He's a football player. You know, I mean, if you didn't know and you came down and you said, who's a football player? What's a football player look like? What's a football player do? How's a football player act? You point to number 28, Darren Woodson. He's one.
He's one you like to start with. And I think you'd be able to finish with him as well. Terry Hardy makes the reception.
We were talking about Darren Woodson in the block. You see, he's going to get right there, and he's going to make the block right there. Right there's the block right there, and that allows Greg Ellis to cut back. But he stayed with it. You know, a lot of guys, it's a hot day and you're ahead and all this, and you don't have to run the distance there. There's a lot of guys that didn't even make the picture, but the guys that did are the special ones.
Here's Jake Plummer back to throw and throws out to his tight end Hardy, who gets the first down, lowers his head.
Remember when the Cowboys drafted Greg Ellis, and there was a controversy, should they draft Randy Moss or Greg Ellis, and now they're kind of going head to head for touchdowns. Greg Ellis has 2, and I think Randy Moss has 4.
Yeah. But Greg Ellis are longer.
Greg Ellis isn't playing now. He's still recovering from that run.
Right now, for an update, let's go again to Joe Buck in Los Angeles.
All right, Pat, the Bucks and Trent Dilfer trying to make noise of their own in a loud Metrodome. Riedel Anthony, a 27-yard touchdown catch over Ramus McDonald, makes it 21-14. Tampa Bay with the ball back. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Somewhere Terry Bradshaw is smiling. Back to Dallas, Pat and John.
Which way you going?
Back at Texas Stadium, Dallas is smiling. 35-7, 2nd and 9 for the Cardinals, and Jake Plummer drops again. Ricochet is picked off by Dat Nguyen, the rookie from Texas A&M. And again, Jake Plummer intercepted.
Dat Nguyen is one of those rookies that the Cowboys really like now. He's just playing on these special situations. Here you see the ball bounce right back, and it just comes off of Charlie Williams, I think. It hits Williams right there. It just goes up in the air. He can't get it, but Dat Nguyen does.
Dat Nguyen just intercepted a deflected Jake Plummer pass. And believe me, it's still hot on the sideline. The old cheesehead, what's he doing here?
Be a grilled cheese in a minute.
Gives to Warren.
Yeah, there's only one bit of sun now, and they're all fanning themselves. It's that left end zone.
South end zone, yeah.
Because this side is in shade now, and that right end zone is in. But that end zone there, that's the only sun. Look at those people.
Some of the seats have just fans left. People have left.
Yeah, but they ought to get some special thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Jones, for as big-hearted as he is, ought to give those people something special. No, they really should. I mean, even if you just go pour something on him. I mean, see if Jerry knew about it.
I don't know if he has that in mind or not.
Jerry, look to your left. See that, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now just look up there and look at those people up there. I mean, just buy them some water, pour something on them, do something for them, because they're very, very special fans. Look, they're waiting for something.
Boy, that's loyalty.
They expect a candy bar, they may get a baked potato.
Timeout Dallas this is. Baseball, don't forget, coming up. Boston against Cleveland. The Indians can score some runs. So can the Red Sox. 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 Pacific. Game 1 of that series. The playoffs begin. Game 2 will be Thursday night, same time. 8 o'clock Eastern. That'll be the Texas Rangers and the New York Yankees, the defending champions. 2nd and 8. Warren, first down.
A guy that does a good job is Hudson Houck, the offensive line coach of this Cowboy team. That he always has good offensive lines. And just watch, we talk about a guy pulling and Larry Allen. Larry Allen is the best pulling guard in football. He may be the best pulling guard of all time. A guy that can run out there, hit a guy, run through him, and never leave his feet.
Is there anything that he doesn't do well?
No. He's the best. I mean, to me, Larry Allen is the best offensive lineman in all of football. But see, when he hits a guy, I mean, he hits him with a short punch and knocks him out. I mean, they fall to the ground. Like a short heavyweight punch. Boom. Like George Foreman used to hit or something.
Like you said, Dave, doesn't look like much, but the guys go down.
It's that short one and they go down. Yeah, they're down and out.
Dave Brown loosening up for the Cardinals.
And all new Simpsons at 8/7 Central tonight on Fox.
John, you were talking about the outstanding job that Hudson Houck does. There is Hud.
Yeah, he's one of the best line coaches in football and has been for a long time. I mean, he has injuries. He puts new guys in. He puts rookies in, and they all have great technique. They all know their assignments. And you see Hudson, I mean, he's an old line coach, and line coaches don't like to carry a lot of stuff around, so they just put it on their arms. Look, I mean, you got plays on this arm, you got plays on this arm, they got papers here. You're always studying. I mean, the game was 35-7, and he's still seeing where those guys are so that he can coach his guys up for 5 more minutes of football.
The one thing that the Cowboy linemen all seem to have in common, and they do well, and that is use their hands and arms. They do a lot of work with the medicine ball. There's Chris Warren. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stinner, directed by Sandy Grossman. Associate director is Mike Roig. The broadcast associates are Charlie McDonald and Mark Mata. Technical producer is Bob Muller. Pre-game show was produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. Pre-game show, of course, is here at Texas Stadium. Senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill, both of whom are here in Dallas this weekend.
Can't beat having the whole gang here, huh?
A whole bunch. Warren lost it. He hit the ground, but the ground can't cause a fumble.
Yeah,
down.
And they're saying that he was down, and the thing is they got him beaten down now. I mean, we talk about domination in the offensive line or defensive line, and this offensive line and the makeshift offensive line has really dominated this Cardinal defense the whole time, and now they have them worn down, and then Chris Warren is just reaping some of that reward from that.
Cowboys scoring a lot of points this year. They got 35-41 against Washington.
I think two of those things is they played Washington, not a pillar of strength on defense, and the Cardinals
and Atlanta. They score a lot of points against Atlanta.
Atlanta has a good defense, though. But you talk about stuff that everyone has, and look what Vince Tobin. I have no idea what he has on that clipboard. There aren't many coaches that still carry a clipboard around, but Vince Tobin is one of those.
That's got some thick writing on it.
That's an old clipboard. That clipboard has seen a lot of football.
That's got some close together stuff on it.
But it hasn't had as many bad days as this one.
Jan Gailey, on the other hand.
Of course, when you're up 35-7, you don't need as many materials.
The handoff again is to Warren. Warren is caught from behind and stopped by Tommy Bennett.
Better take better care of that ball.
Yeah.
I know it's at the end of the game and it's 35-7, and he's a 10-year vet and all that stuff, but you still can't practice flopping that thing out there in the turf.
Go Cowboys! Woo! All right.
That gives you an idea of what the players, when they look through the roof and the sun comes in and they can't see the ball. I guess that gives you an idea.
What, to see cheerleaders?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't looking at the cheer. I was looking through the cheerleaders.
Oh, I thought you were looking at cheerleaders. So that's what they said.
Warren again.
They're just going to take the 2-minute warning now. I mean, one thing, I think they know that the game's over. They don't want to get anyone hurt. They just want to, get it over now and keep the clock running. So the clock will automatically stop at the 2-minute warning here.
Timeout Arizona has stopped it though before it gets to the 2-minute warning.
No, there's no reason. There's no reason for Arizona to take a timeout. I mean, there's no plays that you have that scored 28 points in a couple of seconds.
Don't forget the 1999 Division Series begins as Garcia, Parra, Martinez, Ramirez, and Roberto Alomar battle it out in Game 1 with the Red Sox clash with the Indians. Playoffs on Fox begin Wednesday live in prime time at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
The first baseball uniform I ever had, first team I ever played was Red Sox. You remember the first baseball uniform you ever had?
I don't know if I ever had one. Yeah, I did.
In your life?
Well, no.
Well, somewhere you had to have a first one.
I don't remember. Columbia High in Lake City, I guess, in high school. The Red Sox, huh?
Yeah. Were you like the Tigers or something?
Yeah, we were the Tigers. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. That field goal, Cunningham, no good.
Yeah, he missed that field goal, so
Jan Gailey's
saying, what in the heck was that? These are the guys that did the job today. Flozell Adams is a new left tackle, did an excellent job over there. Larry Allen, to me, is the best.
Those two guys are huge.
Yeah,
both of them.
And then I think when we talk about Ismail was a big addition. The other big addition was Mark Stepnoski, the center. I mean, he really, to me, he kind of solidified this offensive line.
Second tour of duty with Dallas. He was here, then went to the Oilers, and now he's back.
And then Tony Hudson took Everett McIver's place, and Solomon Page, the rookie, did an excellent job at right tackle today.
Yes, he did.
There's old Step right there, the old center.
Stepnoski and Muslinski together.
And that looks like a Stepnoski and Muslinski together talking football. I would love to have a tape recording of that conversation.
What are we going to do about Step's hair?
Let it grow. What the heck? So what? I mean, let Step be Step. That's what he said. He says no matter what happens, he told me the other day, I was talking to him on Friday, he said no matter what happens, I'm always the last to know.
Nobody told me about it, he said.
No one told, but it's the hair thing. I mean, long hair, no one told Step yet. He didn't. He's the last to hear. No one told him. People don't do much anymore.
Muslinski might tell him. 2 minutes left.
What?
Oh, and things are working, going good. They're good everywhere, aren't they? Great family picture.
Look at the happiness of Troy Aikman. I mean, that's about as much as he shows, but he does that all the time. I mean, he goes and, you know, thanks everyone, thanks his receivers, thanks his linemen.
Dave Brown is the quarterback for the Cardinals now.
Dave Brown's pass completed number 32, Michael Irvin.
Look at this. This is one of the things that the Cowboys wanted to work on this year is be better in takeaways on defense. Look at 97. They only had 16. They had 26 all of last year. And so far this year in just 3 games, they have 10 takeaways.
People wonder, how do you work on takeaways?
I think you just become aware of it. I think that, you know, success breeds success. You get momentum, you know, those kinds of things. You think about it, you do it, you go for them.
Brown to Pittman, out of bounds.
And then once you start to get them, that snowballs, and then the other team knows that you do it. To me, that's what got the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, you look at the Atlanta Falcons and say, where in the heck did these guys come from? And they led the league in 2 areas. One was in turnovers, getting turnovers, and 2 was in time of possession. We have Dave Brown in there with his name in its entirety. Taking Jake Plummer out of there. Yeah.
Pass caught by David Boston. They think that in time, David Boston will be one of the premier receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a local guy from
Dallas.
Dallas. His sister is his agent. His sister's a lawyer. His father, David Boston's father, is an NFL official. Oh, there's a hit. Look out for that.
And is it correct that his father cannot officiate a game that he's in unless it's in the playoffs?
Yeah, they put in a rule, or there's a rule in there that if you're an official, you can't officiate a game that your son plays in. But then if he were chosen to do a playoff game and the Cardinals happened to be in the playoff, they wouldn't take him out of the game.
Only happened one other time in the history of the NFL. 3rd and 4. Brown back to throw. Pass intercepted by Darren Hambrick.
Go the other way.
Hey, looking for someplace to go, and he's finding someplace to go. Flag on the play.
One thing Hambrick doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of plays, but when he does make one and get the ball, he has a celebration.
He knows how to celebrate.
He's been working on that dance.
Well, we had about 10 Elvises at the half. Maybe he just picked it up at halftime.
It's going to be against the Cowboys, but I think it's still going to be their ball because it was post-possession.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, sideline interference. The official ran into a coach in the white area. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. The intercepting team will keep the ball first down.
Oh, you don't see that very often. But you know that white area, everyone has to stay out of the white area. In fact, most teams have what they call a get-back coach to keep people out of that area. And you see that white line there? Now, as the official runs down there, somewhere he's going to run into a coach. It's not that official because there's no coach down there. It had to happen up on the other side of it. And Gailey probably said, where was the get-back coach, or who was the coach, or who was the guy that did it?
It wasn't Chan they ran into, I can tell you that.
No, I think they're reviewing that play, Pat.
Is that in that list of reviewables? They are going to review it.
Well, the list of reviewables, I would think, is first of all was the interception and interception.
And is running into a coach. One of those plays that you can review. They are reviewing the interception.
That's what I would guess. It's the interception. You know, did the ball hit the ground? I don't know. It looks like he had it in his left arm the whole time.
He thinks he did. That's usually a pretty good indicator.
Well, someone had to look and see and feel, but that ball hit the ground.
It's the first time we've looked at this angle. Yeah.
I think it's off the ground. Yeah, it looks okay to me.
Now, we don't know if the official saw that view or not.
Well, if he didn't, he will see it because we provided it for him. Then when you come down, I don't think the ball hit the ground. No. I would think that's a legal catch, a legal interception.
Well, it's supposed to take 90 seconds until he makes his decision. And you see how much time has elapsed.
Yeah, so I think that the interception will stay and the penalty will also stay. I'm not sure exactly why you would even challenge it. All you're doing is prolonging the agony. I think that both teams should, just be happy with not having any more players injured.
The play stands as called. Interception for Dallas. First down.
Interception for Dallas. It stands. First down.
I think, this instant replay thing, there hasn't been as many as people thought. And I think the thing's working. I mean, it's a vulnerable system. And as I said before, the pile is open. It's easy to pile on it. But I kind of like the way it's going thus far.
And now the Cowboys,
they're just going to kneel down. They're just going to get this thing over. I mean, that's why I was surprised that one, that the Cardinals took a timeout earlier, and two, that they even reviewed the thing.
Jason Garrett's the Cowboy quarterback. The Rams, by the way, won again today, 38-10. It's the first time since 1995 that they've been 3-0.
That has to be the biggest surprise in the league.
Oh yeah, their performance, not only their performance, but how convincing it's been. The big scores they've been winning by.
Yeah, and where'd that quarterback come from? I mean, Kurt Warner. Who's this guy, Kurt Warner, already?
Arena football.
And then we see Jason Garrett here. We talked about fathers and brothers and stuff. Jason Garrett's brother, John Garrett, is a coach of the Cardinals.
This is Pat Summerall from Fort John Madden and DJ Johnson saying so long from Texas Stadium, where once again the final score is the Dallas Cowboys 35, the Arizona Cardinals 7. Be sure to stay tuned to Fox Sports for our post-game show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris. Then from Los Angeles, Joe Buck and Ron Pitts will have scores and highlights from around the league and be joined by our special guest Marv Levy. That's all coming up after these messages. For more information on today's game and the latest NFL news, log on to foxsports.com.